Good morning, guys. All right, so this is part 2 of my ayahuasca experience. In the first video, I basically just touched on the information that I received while I was doing ayahuasca. So this video is more so just going to be like what it felt like and giving information on the process that I experienced going into ayahuasca, and also information about the shaman that we had. And I'll also be talking about my purging experience, because I know everyone's experience is different. So we'll go ahead and jump right into it. So the first thing I want to talk about is just like the process, like leading up to the ceremony. So before we even went on the trip to Peru, when we met with Valerie Love, it was a Zoom call. She basically like gave us an interview and asked us questions about ourselves and like what is our intention. That was the main thing. We had to have an intention. And then once that process was done, we had to, she advised us to write a letter to Mother Ayahuasca, just basically stating our intentions, stating things that we wanted to heal, stating things that we wanted to release, and things like that. So I wrote my letter and I included all of those things in it. And she actually had us do that so that in the moment while we were receiving the plant medicine, so that we didn't have to sit there and try to remember everything that we wanted to release and receive and things like that. So I did my letter, and in my letter I just made sure I included, I asked the mother to please be gentle with me, and I feel like she was gentle with me. But yeah, other than that, prior to going, we had to like she sent us like a list of things, and it was different than other lists that I've seen like online, because I know certain places recommend that you don't have any salt and sugar and I think vinegar, no sex for a month prior, but for us it was like, for the sex part, it was like no sex 2 weeks before, 2 weeks after. No oil. I've seen that on lists, but that wasn't on her list. It was, the list that she had was like pretty minimal, and yeah, she did recommend like no sugar. I know certain places recommend that you don't have any meat a month prior, and things like that, but that wasn't on our list. I don't eat meat anyway because I am vegan, but I did take information from the other list that I found online, because I was so like, just wanted to do everything right, and I'm like, well, I'm not gonna have any salt or oil, and yeah, I don't deal with sugar really, so that wasn't a problem for me. But I don't know, I just wanted everything to be perfect, so I just didn't do any salt or all of salt and oil. I eliminated that from my diet, and I noticed whenever I did that I did drop a few pounds, and like everything was a lot, I felt like my food was a lot lighter, so I stopped working out, the workout that I was doing at that time, because I didn't want to wither away. But yeah, besides that, when we actually got to Peru, the foods that were available, there is no, it was difficult to stick to the no salt, no oil, so I just ate, what was available. I ate pretty good while I was there. And on the day of our ceremony, we ate at like 8 or 9 a.m. in the morning, and then we fasted for the rest of the day, and we just made sure we stayed hydrated by drinking a lot of water, and tea. I had like chamomile tea. And going into the ceremony, I would like to say, because my first ceremony, it wasn't how I would have expected it to be, and I was like a little disappointed about it, but I knew I had received what I needed, so it was just like, all right, whatever. But I will bring to your attention like mistakes that I made and I don't necessarily want to say mistakes, but things that you should look out for within yourself, because going into a new experience like that, I would say, is sometimes can be a little difficult to really open yourself up and be comfortable enough to just let go of control. And I don't know, I felt like for myself, I was extremely skeptical. It was like I was ready for the experience, but I was skeptical because prior to going, when I did all of my research, you know, a lot of the people who I whose videos I watched, they all went to the retreat centers. We did not do a retreat center. We met up at this hotel. It was really nice, and some of us had roommates, some people didn't, and we went to a shaman. Now the shaman, he owns his own shop in Peru. Like, he sells like a lot of spiritual things like crystals, and there's a ton of stuff in his store besides crystals, but I'm not going to go through everything that he sells. But I was a little skeptical. Although he seemed like legit, I was just skeptical because it was new to me. And then I'm like, we're going to a place that it's at his home, but we weren't inside his home. We were in the Temescal. No, not the Temescal. The big round temple thing. I don't know what that's called. But we had our ceremonies in there, and then there were like these pads on the floor, like mattress pads on the floor around in a big circle. And then there was pillows and nice big warm blankets. So it seemed nice and comfortable and everything, but I was just skeptical because I was in a foreign place that I'd never been before. I was around people that I'd never met before until then. And I don't know. I just didn't know what was going to happen. So in the beginning, you know, after I took my ayahuasca, I took my glasses off because I was told that I wouldn't need them. And so I couldn't really see much because my vision isn't that great. So I was just looking around, and I was like, because I knew that the shamans were supposed to drink, but I didn't see them drink. And I was just like, why aren't they drinking? And then, like, the taste of the ayahuasca, to me, it tastes like, it kind of tastes like some fermented liquor. Like, I don't know. I was just like, is this liquor? Like, I was questioning everything. So it was like, in the meantime, I was wondering why I wasn't having, like, a deep experience, but at the same time, I was sitting there and overanalyzing everything. I'm like, well, why aren't they drinking? The shamans, why didn't they drink? And then I'm like, I felt like I had to keep my guard up for whatever reason, so that nobody did anything to me. And that, it was silly now that I look back, but I don't know, I understand why. So yeah, it was like at the same time I was sitting there, I kept saying, I was like, I surrender, like talking to the mother, and not much was happening. And I just kept saying I surrender. I was saying I surrender, but I wasn't actually. Now I see that I wasn't actually surrendering, because I was in the process of just overthinking and overanalyzing every single thing. So just be mindful of that. If you're gonna go into it, go all the way in. And also just make sure you're with safe people, as far as like you have a legit shaman. Yeah. So in the second let's stick with the first one. All right, so let's talk about my purging. So although I didn't have like this super deep experience, like during the first ayahuasca ceremony, I was holding my pee for quite some time. I guess I don't know, I just didn't want to get up and go. But when I did get up and go, I was escorted to the bathroom. Like, the bathroom was outside of the place where we had the ceremony. And I thought I just had to pee, but as soon as I peed, sorry if this is too much information, but number 2 just started coming out as soon as I peed. I'm like, wow, I didn't even know I had to go. So that was a part of my purging, because it wasn't just regular number 2. It was like the color of the ayahuasca. It was very dark, like a brownish black color, and it just, like, you can tell what it was. And then so that was a part of my purging. And then during that process, like after I went back, I did end up feeling nauseated, but I was like dry heaving, but I couldn't actually throw up. So a little later after that, I did end up throwing up in the bucket. And it's so nice. They, like, the shaman and his family, they took such nice care of us. Like, as soon as we would throw up, they would take the bucket and give us a clean one. And then we had toilet paper available, just in case we needed to use it for our mouths or whatever. They had bottles of water for us, but we most of us brought our own. And yeah, so the next day, I would say the next day after that, although I was a little disappointed, I did feel a little different. Like, I felt lighter. I don't know, I just noticed the difference within me and how I felt. So after that, we ended up doing the the sweat lodge. The next day we did the sweat lodge. So we had a break in between the 2 ayahuasca ceremonies. I'll talk about the sweat lodge in a different video. But moving on to my second ceremony, I went under pretty. I don't want to say under because it's not anesthesia or whatever, but I went in quickly. Like, I would say within 25 minutes, I began to have like my deep experience. So during that one, I want to say I probably threw up like 2 hours into it. So during my releasing and my purging was crying, vomiting, and going number 2. So the first thing I did was I cried for hours, and then after that, I did throw up, and then after that, when I had to use the bathroom, like, I actually had to go. No, matter of fact, I didn't even throw up in my bucket during the second ceremony. I didn't throw up until I had to go do number 2. So I went to the bathroom, and this purging, like, all of the times when I purged, like, I wasn't sure exactly what I was purging, because it wasn't like brought to my attention exactly what it was. But during that second ceremony, like, I felt like it wasn't only my stuff. I felt like I was purging, like, doing like some ancestral healing, just purging just things that I was attached to or connected to somehow that wasn't all mine. Like, I purged my stuff, but I feel like I also purged just my ancestor stuff too, because it felt so intense. Like, the throwing up and like the doing number 2, it was a lot, a whole lot. And during the second ceremony, whenever I did go into the bathroom, I felt a little dizzy. Like, I was able to walk just fine, and like, I was safe, but it was just like I felt dizzy and nauseated. So I threw up, I pooped, and then after that I went back in. So while I was in the experience, I noticed that I was able to tune into the medicine, but whenever it was like easy to come out of it, it was like, I don't want to say, kind of like split consciousness, I guess. So one moment, if you're focused on, your experience, you're in the experience, but whenever you need to come out of it to take care of your body as far as using the bathroom and stuff like that, you're able to do that. So I thought that was pretty interesting, because before I was scared, like, oh my goodness, before I even went, I was like, am I gonna go on myself? I brought an extra change of underwear and things like that. But no, I was able to use my body appropriately. I wasn't like stuck or didn't know what was going on. I was very aware of like everything around me still. So I thought that was pretty cool. One thing that I didn't mention in the first video that I forgot about is they told me, and when I say they, I just refer to spirit, I guess, because I'm not sure of who I was communicating with. It was more so like it was like telepathic communication. Like I wasn't saying any words, but everything was coming from my mind. It felt like I was connected to just this unlimited source of information. So they told me that, because I guess I asked about my hair, or maybe they just told me, I don't know, because I don't remember asking. So I was like asking about, the healing of my hair and my scalp, and they were telling me that I have to, this is something that I used to do early on in my healing my scalp journey. When after I shaved out my hair off, I would like, I would just take moments throughout the day, and I would sit there and I would rub on my scalp, and then I would just mentally say nice things, kind things to my hair and my scalp. And then I would also imagine myself just like on a beach somewhere with a head full of hair, just healthy and, normal. And it became like a habit to where sometimes I didn't even realize I was doing it. And that was actually something that helped with my hair growth. So they told me that I need to continue doing that, because I don't do it as much anymore, but I have been doing it more often since I had the experience and learned about that. But they was like, whenever I talk to the cells in my scalp and my hair, like they get really happy and joyful, and that helps them to heal. Whenever I acknowledge them, whenever I just give them like love and compassion, and when I say them, I'm talking about the cells in my hair and my scalp. It makes them very joyful and happy, and it helps them to heal. So I'm gonna work on getting a lot more consistent with that and being more intentional with it, because I know that it helps. And I had proof of it early on, because the one day that I even noticed that I started growing new strands of hair was when I was sitting there rubbing on my scalp, and that's when I felt the little pricklies come in. So yeah. And sorry, what else was I going to talk about? Okay, so yeah, the shaman, so kind, so nice. His family helped. He had like I don't know if they were related to him, but there was also another man shaman and his wife, and they would assist, like go around singing the Icaros and just assisting us whenever we needed assistance. And his wife was there to assist too. She sang the songs. She has such a beautiful voice, and she was so beautiful. But yeah, it was just like a very nice experience, I'll say. So all right, we talked about purging. We talked about how it felt. I'm just making sure I touched on everything that I meant to touch on. I don't know. So again, for me, it was like whenever I would communicate with whoever I was communicating with, it was definitely telepathic. Even when I received messages from people's deceased loved ones, it was telepathic. And I also saw like actual visions for certain people, like visions of them doing certain things, or I don't know. It was a mixture of all of that. And I just thought it was so interesting, because I don't have any memory of me actually talking to these spirits, but it was just like, I don't know, it was telepathic. Very interesting. But yeah, I think that's about it for now. If I think of anything else, I'll just make another video, but I'm pretty sure that's it. If you have any questions, just leave them in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, go ahead and hit the like button, and have a great day.